Your story sounds so similar to mine. I've lost weight, but it always comes back on. I've recently discovered your podcast. My wife told me about it. It's really inspiring. I would like to know if you have any pointers that can help me. I have a 13-year-old daughter and I need to change my ways desperately. Thank you for listening.
Yes. So I've had that experience. And the thing that changed it for me the most was maintenance. Losing weight is not for me nearly as difficult as maintaining weight, because the kind of thing that's keeping me motivated for weight loss is seeing a reduction on the scale, seeing smaller pants. Then you get into this static of, I just want to be this weight now. So my recommendation for that, and if you don't figure it out, you're not going to figure it out, right? Maintaining our weight is the whole game of, like, I think about this all the time. I think about Robert Kennedy Jr., who I'm not super pro or against. I love the idea of making America healthy again. However, I don't think that McDonald's is the problem. And then there was a picture recently of him eating McDonald's, which the internet lost its mind over. But I'm like, yeah, what are we trying to achieve? The rate of obesity in America is so astronomically high. Do you think taxing sugar and regulating preservatives is going to dramatically change the rate of obesity in America? Maybe it will have some effect. Maybe. But I believe, and this is my belief simply because it was my experience. So we go into anecdotal stuff where it's like, well, your anecdote means nothing. I recognize that. My experience has been, I have to change. I cannot expect the world to change for me to get a better result. I have to change. I have to adapt myself. And that adaptation is figuring out how to maintain your weight. And you don't have to start doing that. It's going to be much harder to start doing that right when you came off some extreme diet, having lost 200 pounds, to then go like, now I'm going to claw tooth and nail to maintaining this. That's going to be so hard. But if you take any diet and you break it up and you go like, there's no finish line here. We're going to dispel the idea of finish lines, because if your only goal at 438 pounds, I think he said, or they said, at 440, I was 2 pounds off. Okay.
I know.
If the only goal is, I want to lose 200 pounds, what happens on the next day? You cross that finish line, you've lost 200 pounds. Think of it as a marathon. You train for a marathon. Now you're done with the marathon. And is all you wanted the accolades or the feeling of accomplishment from having run that marathon? Well, you've done that. You've lost weight. You said you lost weight. Did you get anything long-term out of the feeling of accomplishment for, I did that, now I'm done, I'm going to gain the weight back? What is the long-term goal? Do you want to run a marathon every day? That seems psychotic to me. But like, what do you want? Lasting cardiovascular health? What is the bigger purpose? If the purpose is just weight loss, if that's the only thing we're hyper focused on, then we're not going to have 10 years of maintained weight. We're not going to have that, because the only purpose is fat loss, is weight loss. You got to broaden your perspective and go, what do I want long term? I thought I'll lose the weight, I'll lose the fat, and then I'll just naturally maintain it. You know, I'll work hard and maintain it with no plan other than I just will. And I found that that's not the way life works for me. I have to have a plan on how I'm going to do that, that's at least within the realm of possibility. And I'm just going to do it is not a plan. Maintenance, figuring out maintenance long before you arrive at the point where you have to maintain, because you've now done all this work to get to the place, is the thing that worked for me. You got 200 pounds to lose. I don't know. Maybe they want to lose even more than that at 240. I don't know, but let's just put a ballpark there. You got 200 pounds to lose. Start figuring out maintenance today. What does it take to eat in and maintain 440 today? And you don't have to do it for very long, but like, figure out the amount of energy you need to not gain weight and not lose weight, but just maintain weight. Then lose 50 pounds and do it again. Now, it's not going to be as hard at 50 pounds lost as it is at 200, but it's going to be a lot more work, because you just lost 50 pounds. So you're going to eat less than you did at 440. It's going to be less food, and your body's going to be kind of screaming at you to reaccumulate the fat you just lost, because that's their savings account. It's your body's savings account of energy. And it's going to be going, you deprived us of energy. We want to put it back in. We want fat savings account, because when the zombie apocalypse comes, we can sit in our room and survive it longer than the thin people. Like, that's kind of some bastardization of what your body's thinking, right? When the famine comes, the fat people will survive and the thin people will die off. And genetically, we've experienced lots of famines and lots of people have died through starvation. That's a real bastardization of the mechanics of what's going on. But throw these maintenance periods in and make them really long, so that, for two reasons. First of all, your body will be having all the nutrients it needs to survive, so that the hormones will settle down and they won't eventually be screaming at you to overfeed them. And then you'll be ready to lose weight again. Your body will be chilled out and you'll have some idea. This is what life looks like. If I'm not gaining weight, this is how I have to live, or I'm going to fucking gain weight. So that's kind of the way to do that. This idea that it's just going to be innate once we lose weight is, why would it be innate? We've lived our lives putting on weight. What's going to magically change once we've lost weight? Nothing. We're just going to regain the weight. So having an actual plan to how I'm going to accomplish this goal is super, super important. That's my pitch for maintenance.